Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 76 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today we're going to talk about Chatbots. It's another great and super cheap tool to help automate your business. I hope you didn't miss episode 75 with Gail Carson. Now, don't send me any mean emails when I tell you about her, all right? She calls herself the spunky old broad. She's even got the spunky old broad radio network. And now the audio on hers is a little bit funky, so I'm sorry about that. We did the best we could, but you'll find her story inspiring in that after 4 rounds of breast cancer, she still works out every day and has more energy than most 20-year-olds. So don't miss Gail Carson. All right, our podcast our podcast app is now in the iTunes store, and you can check it out. We have instructions on how to use it at screwthecommute.com/app, and it'll do all kinds of cool things for you. So check that out. You can carry us with you much easier now. All right, our sponsor today is the Screw the Commute private Facebook group, where you can interact with me, my staff, and with other great entrepreneurs and like-minded people. And it's a place where my staff and I put in training and business tips several times per week. You can ask questions and get feedbacks on things you are doing. And I'll tell you more about that later, but that's at screwthecommute.com/Facebook. screwthecommute.com/Facebook. All right, let's get to the main event. Today, we're going to talk about messenger bots, also known as chat bots. These things are a lot of fun, and if you get in now, open rates and click-through rates are through the roof, pretty much never before seen in email marketing. And messenger bots were first released by Facebook back in April of 2016, I think it was. And at the time, nobody knew what to do with them, all right, or how they could be used for marketing. But that's all changed. New bots are coming on the market all the time. But we're going to concentrate on Facebook Messenger bots because currently and probably for a long time, they're the most popular. So what are these messenger bots? And I don't know if it's right or not, but I call them chat bots. And they're a type of artificial intelligence, also known as AI, that allows a business to communicate with their customers automatically. Now, I'm not talking about autoresponders like you would find in email. Now, they're extremely powerful too, but you can't interact with them. With chatbots, your prospects and customers can start a dialogue with your chatbot and get the information that they want immediately. And if your chatbot gets stumped and doesn't know what to say to the customer, a message can be forwarded by the bot directly to you or to a team member. Now, my chatbot's name is Screwy, all right, to match this Screw the Commute podcast. And you can meet Screwy just by visiting my business page on Facebook. And that's at facebook.com/Antion and Associates. Facebook.com/Antion and Associates. And click send message, and then let little Screwy take over. He'll talk to you. All right. Now, when you create these bots, you can make them ask people questions and program different paths to take for each person depending on how they answer. For instance, when you send a message to Screwy, he might respond by saying, do you want to know about internet marketing, public and professional speaking, entrepreneurship, or none of the above? If you say internet marketing, Screwy sends you to my internet marketing resources. If you say public and professional speaking, and by the way, all you have to do is click on a button. You don't have to type in public and professional speaking. He sends you to my public speaking stuff. And it's the same with entrepreneurship. Now, if you click on none of the above, he says, Well, those are Tom's main expertise. Do you want to interview him? Do you want info on Screw the Commute podcast and whatever else we put in there? And if they answer no, Screwy says, well, I'll forward your question to Tom and he'll answer you as soon as he can. Now, you can also broadcast messages to people who have subscribed to your messenger bot. But Facebook has limitations on that, and I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. First, people have to agree to get messages from you. Typically, you program a button that says, get started, or something like that. This is similar to an opt-in in email. They made the decision to communicate with you on Messenger. And you normally put a message in there telling them they can send a stop message anytime they don't want to get messages from you anymore. Now, once they agree to communicate with you through Messenger, you can broadcast to them. But here's where it gets a little tricky. You can broadcast a non-promotional message to your list of Messenger recipients anytime you want. You can give away freebies or promote free webinars or give away ebooks or videos or just give an informational message, whatever you want. But here's a warning. And I'm not a terms of service expert on Facebook, so double check what you plan on doing before you do it. All right, I don't want to get blamed for telling you something that they don't allow anymore because I don't know when you're going to listen to this. Anyway, if you want to do a promotional message selling something, you can only send that to people who have interacted with your bot within the past 24 hours. Now, this would be crazy trouble to try to keep track of that manually. So I use a service called ManyChat, manychat.com, and they keep track of that for me. And now why is this 24-hour rule? Well, your guess is as good as mine, but word has it that Facebook doesn't want Messenger to get overrun with spam messages like email has gotten overrun with spam. So they're very strict on this. Now, a ton of people have Facebook Messenger, and the open rates and click-through rates, like I said, are so high they've never been seen in email. And ManyChat makes it relatively easy to create intricate sequences for people to interact with your bot. I mean, you can send people to a web page, you can tag them so you know what promotion they came from, and then you can broadcast back to just that segment of the people. So let's say 200 people interacted with my bot, and 100 of them wanted internet marketing info, and the other 100 wanted public speaking info. Well, I can pull up just those people who wanted public speaking info and just broadcast to them and do this. And I do the same thing in my shopping cart system, but I broadcast to a list of people who got a certain autoresponder. And of course, you can learn all about good shopping cart systems in episode 10. And I'm not in any way saying it's not a good idea to use autoresponders. My God, that's one of the most powerful things ever invented for online marketing. But I'm just saying this new method of messenger bot marketing is also great, and it's a perfect time to jump on it. Now, you can use bots for lots of things, like giving your hours and links to the directions to your store if you have a physical store. You can have return policies, how to order instructions, size charts or sizing charts if you sell clothing, and all kinds of things. This kind of functionality used to only be open to big businesses, but that has all changed. I mean, there's no reason small business owners can't get the same benefits of using messenger bots that major corporations can. Now, see, big companies can afford round-the-clock customer service, and most small companies can't. But this is where bots can really even the playing field. I mean, they can be a reasonable and really low-cost substitute for round-the-clock customer service and like the fees that go along with having like toll-free 24-hour service lines. And you can start small with messenger bots. I mean, ManyChat makes it pretty easy to get started with their free account. And even their pro account's only $10 a month for up to 500 people in your database. Now, here's something I think is just crazy great. ManyChat has a 10-hour course on all aspects of using bots. And listen, I've been buying and selling courses online for over 20 years. They could easily charge $1,000 for this course. Guess what? It's free to their customers. I mean, I highly recommend it. It's just a massive PhD in bot marketing. All right. So this is the time to get in on this, especially with Facebook Messenger. I mean, currently they have something like 1.3 billion users of Messenger every single day. And there's only a tiny number of chatbots out there. Now, when I say tiny, yeah, there's probably 100,000 companies putting them out there, but that is really tiny compared to 1.3 billion users every day, right? Now, you can really get in on the ground floor and build a big following way before it becomes overcrowded. And also, these bots, as they become more popular, when one business doesn't have them, customers may just turn to a competitor that does. And so you don't want to be that business that doesn't have them. And my feeling is that people hate filling out contact forms or putting in support tickets to companies because they have been so poorly managed over the years. People feel like it's a waste of time to fill out a form because no one's going to get back to you in a timely manner anyway. So why should they bother? But see, chatbots give people instant feedback and instant answers to their questions. And they're also interactive, which keeps people engaged with them. I mean, people are more willing to hang in there for an answer to their question when they're involved in the process. And plus, it's fun. I mean, just go ask my little guy Screwy. All right, so besides a better customer service and increased sales and improved communication with your customers and prospects, chatbots can handle large volumes of requests. Let's say you do a big promotion or some kind of launch, and tons of your prospects have questions all at once. Well, that can easily overwhelm a small business. I mean, it also reduces the effectiveness of the launch because people that were all excited at the time of your promotion couldn't get their questions answered in a timely fashion. And then their excitement gets fizzled and they don't buy. And what a shame that is. And no small business can possibly have enough people on board to handle a large number of simultaneous calls and emails and live chat. I mean, heck, most of them can barely handle one or two interactions at a time. And you would think with all their functionality that messenger bots would be some of the highest expenses of your business. And guess what? This is totally opposite. They're actually some of the cheapest, and really free to start out. I mean, the return on investment of putting bots into play can be simply off the charts. I mean, the risk is totally low. And I mean, literally, you can do this with ManyChat for free and get all your training from them for free too. And once your bots are running, you have no maintenance costs. So not doing this appears to be negligence to me. In other words, you really aren't taking full care of your business by ignoring a free, super powerful tool like this. Another big benefit of messenger bots is that you can get really accurate pictures of what your customers want based on what they click on in your bot and what questions they type into your bot. And this not only allows you to know your customers better and what they want, it also allows you to make your bot smarter as you go along. See, when you get a common question the bot doesn't know the answer to, you can give it the answer, and from then on, your prospects get immediate answers to that question. So it gets smarter over time. All right, I hope you like this so far. We got to take a little break for our sponsor, which is me, and Screw the Commute private Facebook group where you can interact with me, my staff, and with other great entrepreneurs and like-minded people. And it's a place where my staff and I put in training and business tips several times per week. You can ask questions and get feedback on things you're doing. Now, I give you quick tips that have made and saved me tons of money over more than 40 years in business. 40. I thought it sounded like 4 there, so I'm repeating it. 40 years in business. And myself and my staff also give you more in-depth postings on all kinds of business topics. So check it out in the show notes at screwthecommute.com. This is episode, I forget, let me see, 76. And you can join up there. All right, let's get back to some best practices for messenger bots. So I got a bunch of them here. Number one is ask your bot as many questions as you can think of that pertain to your business and see what happens. Also, put in some weird questions and maybe even some dirty questions to see how your bot responds. Number two, have a bunch of friends test it out and tell you where they got stuck or came to a dead end. That way you can fix those spots before you announce your bot to the world. I mean, a fancier test for this would be beta, or name for this would be beta testers. So test it out. Number three, try to always give people a chance to get back to the main menu so they can start over if they want. I mean, sometimes I don't do this purposely because I want them to go forward to a website or a promotion or click some link, and I don't want them going back. Number four, and this is a big one, be concise. Have you ever seen the acronym TLDR? Have you ever seen that online? TLDR. It means too long, didn't read. Okay? And if your bot's messages are too long, it's going to trigger this response in your audience. People like interacting with bots because it's a quick way to get the information they need. So make sure your messages are just that, quick to read. And I'm going to give you some guidelines here. Make sure your messages are no longer than 90 characters. That includes spaces, which is it's about 3 lines on a mobile device. If possible, keep them as short as 60 characters, which is about 2 lines on mobile. And if you can give multiple messages, that's okay, but sometimes you have to do that. Just make sure that altogether they're not over 140 characters or so at a time. This isn't a hard and fast rule, but really you got to keep things short. And number 5, test your bot on different devices. See, there's a whole world of mobile devices out there today. So, some have screens nearly as big as laptops, like an iPad, while others are still teeny, teeny, tiny. And while your message may appear, fine on a larger screen, if it's too long, users have to scroll up to see the entire thing on small screens. And this is just as bad as having a message that's too long because no one wants to scroll just to read what the bot said. Now, also remember that while you're in the chat mode, users will typically have the touch keyboard up on their screens, and that effectively takes half of the screen and cuts it off. So keep them short. So what do you do about this? Well, test the messenger bot on different devices, and if you find messages are too long, you can optimize the bot so messages can be read with minimal scrolling. And it's a great way to make the bot more usable for your audience, which means they'll likely be more engaged with it. So test it out. All right, number 6. Some bots will need to confirm something with the user. I don't have need for this much, but some types of businesses would, such as if they're making a purchase or booking a hotel room or a restaurant reservation. When the bot is making that confirmation, it's important that they are asking a question and not making a statement. Now, that's a little thing, but if the bot makes a statement as confirmation and the details are wrong, the user is going to feel like they did something wrong. And if it asks a question in the confirmation and the answer is still wrong, they say, okay, something was wrong. Let's go back, and they don't get so upset. They'll just go back and correct the problem. And it won't have blown up in their minds to be a big deal and the customer's unhappy. And happy customers are what every business wants. All right, number 7. There might be times when the bot has to do some thinking and doesn't respond right away. Maybe it's automatically checking to see if those dinner reservations are possible, or maybe it's processing an order. So whatever's going on, the user typically only wait about 8 seconds before they're trying to reactivate the bot. And when they do, it can confuse the bot and the user, and the whole conversation can go quickly downhill. So to prevent this from happening, you let the user know that the bot is currently processing information. And this can be done with those little typing indicators. You see the little dots going that let the user know a response is on the way. Or it could be a short message that says, hey, I'm processing your order. Or still processing. I want to get this just right. I mean, this is going to let the user know they haven't been forgotten and the bot hasn't glitched out, and that in just a few more seconds, they're going to get what they need. All right, number 8, try to have an undo and a cancel button. Bots or humans are perfect, and mistakes are going to be made at some point in a conversation. So when they do, make it easy for the user to go back and fix the mistake or to cancel something. Messenger bots are an online experience, and correcting a mistake really should be as easy as pressing the back button in a browser. So make sure, if they make a mistake, the user doesn't get frustrated and that they can go back and start the entire conversation over again if they want. All right, number 9, give your bot a unique name. My little guy is named Screwy to match the name of this podcast. This gives the bot a little personality and makes it more fun to interact with. And number 10, you also might want to write in more fun and conversational language if it fits the personality of your site. For instance, I might write, whoa, hold your horses. I've got to think about that question for a minute, or something like that. All right. How do you tell people about your bot? Well, on my Facebook business page, there's a send message button. Please, I want you to try it out. Go to facebook.com/Antion and Associates. Antion, Antion, and then AND Associates. Facebook.com/Antion and Associates. And it's important to remember that these messenger bots can't be placed on a personal profile. So if that's all you have and you want to start using a Facebook Messenger bot, which is the easiest of all of them and the most people out there, you'll need to create a Facebook business page. All right, now, email. If you want your messenger bot to be even more effective, it should be integrated into all your stuff, your email marketing campaigns. And this can be done, again, just by simply adding a link. Customers can click, and then they're redirected to your bot. And on your website, by now you know that when creating a messenger bot, you don't have to rely on people opening a messaging app in order to use it, because most people have it already. And just like you can include an icon on Facebook and a link in email marketing, you can and you should include the same link or icon on your website. It's here that you'll likely get your best prospects and leads anyway, because they searched you out. Those people already want to know more about you and your business and what you're offering. And as they continue to read and learn, they'll likely have questions. So why not give them a simple way to get answers to those questions, or make it even easier for them to make a purchase? By giving them access to your bot, it can help them do all of that. And if you have a messenger bot but don't have a way to access it from your website, you're going to be missing out on a lot of potential hot subscribers that could turn into customers. So it should be pretty easy to see just how the world of messenger bots are quickly taking over, and with so many benefits, and including freeing up time by answering all kinds of questions on your behalf. There's really no reason for businesses to decide against using them. And because they're so easy to create, just about anyone can create them in minutes in order to reap all those benefits. Now, when creating messenger bots, it's important to keep in mind that it should be all about the user experience. The easier it is to use a messenger bot, the better the experience will be for both the user and the business. So keep all those best practices that I outlined in mind, and we're going to have them in the show notes for you, while creating your messenger bot, and both the users and your business will benefit. And pretty soon, you'll be depending more and more on their power to take care of prospects and customers and increase your bottom line. All right, so that's our little discussion on chatbots and messenger bots. And I want you to meet my little guy, Screwy. Go over to facebook.com/Antion and Associates. And also, I would love it if you'd download our podcast app. It's out. It's hot, and it works. It does all kinds of cool things. And we have a whole section to teach you how to use all the advanced stuff if you really want to do cool things with it. And that's our deal. Now, this was episode 76. So if you want to get those show notes and those best practices, make sure you go to screwthecommute.com/76, and that'll have all those best practices you can print out. And what else we got here for you? Let's see before we go. Yeah, join our private Facebook group, screwthecommute.com/Facebook. And also when you're, hey, help us out with some reviews over at iTunes, and tell your friends about this podcast, because we're going to always bring you great stuff. This has been one of our Monday sessions, which is always an in-depth training session. And then on Wednesdays and Fridays, we interview other great entrepreneurs who bring a lot of great ideas. So we will catch you all in the next episode.